Hello, word listeners. Welcome. I'm Alex, your host, and I'm thrilled to have you join me for another exciting episode. Today, we're diving into a very common English word, crowd. What does it mean? Well, a crowd is simply a large group of people gathered together in one place. You might see a crowd at a concert, a sporting event, or even just waiting for a bus. It's a very useful word to describe gatherings of people. So, the word for today is crowd, a large group of people. Let's explore this word in detail. A crowd, as I mentioned, is a large number of people, usually gathered closely together. Think about a shopping mall on a Saturday afternoon, especially near the holidays. You're likely to encounter a crowd of shoppers all trying to find the perfect gifts. Or imagine a famous singer giving a free concert in a city park. You can bet there will be a huge crowd of fans eager to see them. Now, let's consider some synonyms for crowd. Synonyms are words that have similar meanings. A good synonym for crowd is throng. For example, instead of saying there was a large crowd waiting for the store to open, you could say there was a large throng waiting for the store to open. Another synonym is mob. However, mob often implies that the crowd is unruly or potentially violent. For example, the mob stormed the building. Group is another synonym, but it's a more general term and doesn't necessarily imply a large number of people like crowd does. For example, a group of friends went to the movies. Another is audience. For instance, the audience cheered loudly after the performance. That said, audience is most often used in the context of a performance. Let's move on to antonyms for crowd. Antonyms are words that have opposite meanings. An antonym for crowd would be individual. While a crowd is many people, an individual is just one person. Another antonym is solitude. Solitude refers to being alone, often intentionally. For example, she enjoys the solitude of her cabin in the woods. Another fitting antonym is isolation. For instance, the pandemic led to increased feelings of isolation. Another antonym is loneliness, which describes the feeling of being alone and wanting company. For example, he felt loneliness after moving to a new city. Consider this sentence: "The park was empty, and I felt a sense of solitude." This is the opposite of being surrounded by a crowd. Now, let's look at how we use crowd in everyday life. You might say, "I don't like going to the mall on weekends because of the crowds." Or, "The police were called to control the crowd after the game." You might also hear the phrase "lost in the crowd," meaning feeling anonymous or insignificant because you're surrounded by so many people. He felt lost in the crowd of the big city. Another common expression is a face in the crowd, meaning someone who is not noticeable or stands out. For example, she didn't want to be just another face in the crowd. The word crowd can also be used figuratively. For instance, you might say, "He's always followed the crowd," meaning he does what everyone else is doing without thinking for himself. Let's look at some more sentence examples. The crowd roared with excitement when the home team scored. She pushed her way through the crowd to get to the front. The concert was amazing, but I hated fighting through the crowd afterwards. The crowd outside the stadium was enormous. He disappeared into the crowd. Don't get separated from your friends in the crowd. The police dispersed the crowd peacefully. She was nervous about speaking in front of such a large crowd. The crowd began to gather hours before the event. The store was packed with a crowd of shoppers. To recap, crowd means a large group of people gathered together. Synonyms include throng, mob, group, and audience, while antonyms include individual, solitude, isolation, and loneliness. We use crowd in many everyday situations to describe gatherings of people. I hope you've enjoyed learning about the word crowd today. Thanks for joining me on Hello Word. Before we wrap up, I have a small request. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. Your support helps others find our show, allowing us to help even more people learn English. And now, your challenge. I wanted to create your own sentence using the word crowd and share it as a comment below the video. I can't wait to read your creative sentences. See you next time on Hello Word.